Hi, I'm Kevin Pearcey, and I'm unashamed for Christ. But it has not always been that way. In fact, my first impression of Jesus was weird. I saw this feminine guy with long hair and this crown thing around him whenever I looked at pictures in my mom's Bible. And what drove me nuts is that people worshiped him. And I said, why would a human being ever worship another human being? And why would you ever believe what somebody says about what's to come after death if they just died like everybody else? Now, I didn't have a problem with God because I realized there's no way that I could have made the sun, moon, and stars, the plant life, the animal life, and all these wonderful things all around us. And you know what? I could even see my own limitations in mortality that, I didn't even choose my own birth, when or where. And in fact, the whole idea of people existing before I did was mind-blowing. And then to learn, I'm just one of millions of billions of people that think and feel and live and die, and so God didn't bother me, but this whole concept of Jesus did, until God put some Christians in my life, and they were kind and full of love and genuine people. And I said, well, they don't seem as crazy as I thought they'd be. Let me at least hear them out. And I learned that Jesus was the center of history. He's the one that our entire calendar is based off of today, off of his life. And that's saying something. Well, why would this single man be the standout for our history? And how did he become such a powerful influence? Well, you can look at some things in his life, like the miracles he did. This is what rose him out of obscurity from his poor town and poor family, and why people started gathering to hear him teach. And when he taught, he said, truly, truly, I say unto you, as he was the authority on truth, like he was the originator of it. And the things that he taught were profound and deep and true. Not only that, but he transformed lives, not just through his teaching, but through who he was, full of grace and truth. And people that were in the misery of and self-destructive behaviors and sinfulness, he brought them forgiveness and redemption, and their relationship to God was restored. And this was all fulfillment of prophecies, hundreds of years old, hundreds of prophecies, 67 direct ones included, of this Savior that God promised to the world. A Savior for what? Well, a Savior to save us from our sin, to restore us back in our relationship with God, because we're all sinners. And as I'm around these Christians, my conscience is really awakened. I knew I'd done things that were wrong before. My conscience told me, but being around these people that live the way they're supposed to, it brought it out even more. My anger, my lying, my rebellion. And it was like a light shining on my darkness, right? Exposing it. And wow, I could see, I have a problem in my relationship with God. But then to learn about why Jesus really came. He came to die because he's the Son of Man. He's human and he represents all mankind. And yet he perfectly fulfilled the law of God. He was righteous, never once sinned. And because of that, he could be our sacrifice. He could become our substitute. He would take the judgment that you and I deserve for our sin, the curse of sin, the wages of sin, which is death, including physical death, eternal condemnation, separation from God. We deserve that, and Jesus did not, because he was sinless. And as a man, he took our place on the cross. He took all the sin, all the death of all mankind, of all time, upon himself on that cross. And it goes beyond that. He wasn't just the Son of Man, but it says that he's the Son of God. Jesus himself said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. And he was the Son of God. That is, he's God who represents God. And he could bear the condemnation of all mankind, because he's eternal God. He could take that. He had the place of authority to be able to bridge the gap between God and man. But that's a big statement. And I said, that has got to be backed up. God in the flesh. Before Abraham was, I am, Jesus said. You've got to back that up. And the reason I'm unashamed for Christ today is that Jesus did back it up. On the third day, Jesus arose from the dead. I said, who else could raise himself from the dead but God? And there's no way that's faked. And that 2,000 years later, he's the center of all history. And I'm hearing about this. And I place my faith in Jesus. And he has saved me from my sin. And I am unashamed for Christ because he has made me free from sin and made me his child, the child of God. And I hope that you do as well. God bless.